but when I found Vipassana, I felt like I was home. As a matter of fact, the head teacher who established this practice in the West, Goenkaji, who I call my teacher also, the late Goenkaji, when I saw him on the screen for the first time, he actually reminded me of my late father. And I was wide-eyed, and I just said, oh my goodness. And I listened everything he said. Also, I developed what you call a craving to hear the teacher. But that said, enough about me in my short intro. I will turn it over to Barry to tell us exactly what is Vipassana.
Vipassana is a word that in the ancient language spoken by the Buddha 2,500 years ago, in the Pali language, it means to see things as they are. So, Sendra, you said your eyes were open during your first course. You said that you were mainly there for sightseeing. Well, that ties in pretty well with Vipassana because you were sightseeing into yourself. And so Vipassana means to see things as they really are, not as we have read that they are, not as a teacher or spiritual leader has said that they are, not as some book or scripture says that they are, but by our own experience, by understanding how this mind and body work together, can we really and truly understand how the laws of science, not the laws of a particular religion or a particular philosophy, but the actual laws of science, which are the same for every human being on the planet, no matter where we are, who we are, where we were raised, what color, religion, philosophy, or any of that. The laws of science, how this mind and body work together, are exactly the same for every one of us. So anybody with a clear and wishing mind to observe how their mind and body work, how I continue to tie up all of these complexes within myself, how I make my depression more, my anxiety more, my fear more, my anger more. When we begin to understand how this mind and body work together, we can actually understand how we tie up all those complexes, how we multiply those complexes, and how we can begin to untie them, how we can begin to come out of all those complexes that are continually causing us misery throughout our life, whether we are professionals, executives, or people on the street. It doesn't matter. We all work the same.
Absolutely. I just went to India last year and I sat a very long course. I was sitting with people who some of them probably can't write. But we all have the same goal, which is to go within and uncover and unravel the deeper layers that are causing us misery when we have our eyes open. Nowadays, I prefer eyes closed and eyes open. But to help the audience understand a little bit more, and so how does Vipassana differ from other practices? So the Buddha, of course, many years ago was very adamant about the practice of meditation, but there are several different types of Buddhist meditation alongside with other religion meditation. So could you elaborate a little bit on that, on the difference?
Yeah, first of all, I wouldn't say that this is Buddhism. If as soon as we say Buddhism or Hinduism or Judaism or Catholicism or any other Islam, we are dividing ourselves. We are separating ourselves. Vipassana is a meditation, though it was discovered by the Buddha. As our teacher Goenkaji was very fond of saying, the Buddha was a scientist. He called him a super scientist. He did not discover Buddhism, not an ism. He discovered the law of nature, science, how it works for all of us. Now, as far as different kinds of meditation, most meditations in the world are based on developing a very strong, concentrated mind, one-pointed mind. And a one-pointed mind, by practicing a mantra or a visualization or any technique like that, it will make us more concentrated, and a more concentrated mind is certainly a more happy and a more peaceful mind. But it doesn't actually go to the root of our deep-rooted problems, which is the mental conditioning that each one of us has of our anger, our fear, our depression, anxieties, and things of that nature. Vipassana meditation uses a concentrated mind. In fact, on a regular 10-day course, the first 3 days of that course are dedicated to developing a concentrated mind. With that concentrated mind, we are able to start feeling the different physical sensations within our own bodies, which are very directly related to the mind. So we need concentration to develop what we call insight or wisdom. Wisdom is the understanding of how this mind and body work together, how we tie up the knots, the complexes, how we can untie them. So instead of saying this is purely a concentration technique, it's a technique to develop wisdom, because it's ignorance that has tied up all this misery within us, and it is wisdom that will help us to come out of it. Vipassana is unique. Though there are different schools of Vipassana, we do not say we are the only school teaching Vipassana. We are not. Vipassana is different than purely a concentration or samadhi technique.
It's perfect.